Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Just in case you're wondering, this is this side, that side is because I've had a skin cancer removed, which is quite a large one, and I had to have a skin graft on it taken from the top of my leg, so that's why I've got this great big lump stuck on the side of my face. So I apologise for that. You don't really want to look at that, so I'll take you down to my board. So what I'm doing today is I'm making hydrangea, again with the flexible paste that I've been using in my last few videos, and I'm going to be using, this is a hydrangea cutter and this is a hydrangea veiner that I got from AliExpress, I think it was, which wasn't overly expensive. There are actually two sizes, a bigger one than this, but the hydrangea cutters do come in two sizes, but for the one I'm doing, it's quite a small flower. Now I have printed out a lot of different flowers here of hydrangeas, and the one that I'm aiming to do is this one. Is it that one? No, it's not that one. That one up at the top there, which is sort of lime green in the centre. So I've done two different types parts of the flower. This is the centre part, which is the lime green flower, and then the outer flowers are these purple ones here that I've done. So to start off with, you need a centre for it, so we want some 30 gauge wires. You can use either 30 or 32 gauge wires because these are very small, so you don't need a strong wire. So I'll get a 30 gauge wire out, and I cut these wires into 6 because you don't need them very long. So if you cut it in half and then put your two halves together and then cut that into 3. So just pop those to one side. So I'm going to use one of those wires to make the centre. So basically the centre of the flower is just a little ball of paste, and it needs to be really tiny. You could use a stamen if you wanted to, if you've got some sort of medium sized stamens, but I prefer to use the paste because it colours better than stamens do. They don't always take the dust. So pop your wire into it. This is quite sticky, so I don't need to put any glue on it, but depends what kind of paste you're using. If you're using this paste that I did a video on, it's quite sticky, so it should stick to your wires with that. So I'm just going to pop that to one side to dry. Right, so the petals. I'm not going to roll a lot of paste out because I'm only going to do one of everything just to show you, so that I'm not making the video too long, because most of it is the colouring and the putting together that takes the time. Roll your paste fairly thin, then you want your ridge up the middle. If you're using the ridge board, then use the ridge board, but don't forget to take them off, your paste off when you've rolled it out, and turn it over so you can see where your ridge is. With these rolling pins I've got, you can get these online all over. There's lots of different versions of them now. They're really handy for this sort of thing because you don't get a big ridge in the middle, so you don't end up with thick petals in the centre. So cut that out. Now you want 4 per flower. Now some of the hydrangeas actually have more petals. Some of them have 5 or even 6 petals, so it depends on which variety you're looking. So if you look up online, just put into your browser on your computer pictures of whatever flower it is you're doing, in this case hydrangea, and they will lots of sites will come up like Shutterstock and Photographer's Direct and Getty pictures, all sorts of things like that. Right, so I'm just going to get that off my board, lift it up with my little tool there and pop a wire into that, into the centre. I'm not going to go right up the petal. I've only gone probably about halfway up with that. And then you want your tool pad. Let me find me yellow one, then you can see what I'm doing. The trouble is when you're using white paste, because I'm using a white board here, if I still had the shop I could get a green one, but I don't have the contact with the manufacturer I got it from originally. And I'm using the large end of the smallest ball tool in these, because these come in a set of 3 if you buy these metal ones. Come in really handy. I always find it better to, I've just gone a bit out of shape there because it was a little bit thick, but never mind. Nothing's perfect in nature, it doesn't matter, you don't have to be exact. So I'm just going to pop that in. So that's the front, so I'm putting the flat side down because that's the front, with the this side up. Give that a good press. And then what I'll do is turn that over, and then I'm just going to give it a little bit of a pinch in the middle so I get a little bit of shape to it, so it's not flat. So it's just basically shaped, if you can see that, against the bottom bit there. Then pop that into some foam to dry. Right, so that's your petals. So you want 4 of them per flower, depending on how big you want your flower to be will depend on how many flowers you're going to do. What I'll do is in the description below, because I'm telling you where I've got them from, I'll put in where I got the veiners from, so if anybody wants to order them. The veiner that I'm using for the leaves, they are quite expensive of these, but they are good veiners. I've only just got these, and these were from, oh god, I've forgotten the name now. I'll put it in the descriptions below. And she does do the veiner for the petals as well, but I found that the veiner for the petals, and that's these veiners here, they were a bit big. You can see the size of that against the size of that, and the reason I've used those is because they were better for the size of petals I'm doing. So if you want to do a larger flowered one, she does do the flower veiners for that, because there's lots of different varieties in hydrangeas. So I'm just going to cut out 2 of the leaves because I'm not going to use them. I'm just going to show you the large one and the medium one. Now they have got a large rose leaf cutter here. If you can get hydrangea cutters, that's fine, but I'm using rose leaf ones, and these were some that I had made up when I was doing a class with the college before I taught at the college with the tutor before me. So I'll do my ridges, and then I'm just going to cut out one of those. And then I'm going to cut out, I'm using the largest, when I find what I've done with it, the largest cutter in the rose leaf cutters. I've lost it. Never mind, you only need to see one, you know how to do leaves anyway, don't you? Just take that paste away, put that away in here, and then I used a thicker wire because the bigger leaves, I used a 24 gauge wire, I think, for this. It's either a 24 or a 22, whichever's best for you, because the heavier the leaves, the more that they're liable to dangle down if you get the wires too small. So get your wire into your paste, and then again onto your tool pad. And I need my medium ball tool, so I'm using the small end of the medium ball tool. Always go with the ridges, so go around that. Don't pull it this way, because you'll pull it out of shape. So I'm going to roll this, because this is a bit thicker with being a leaf, and they are quite fleshy, our leaves on these sort of flowers, so you can get away with your paste being thicker. So like, this is a method that we use for porcelain, because otherwise it stretches. So that's that. So I'm going to get the large leaf veiner out of my set here. And as you can see, they are very detailed, these. So your ridge side goes into your groove side, into the bottom of it there, and then put your top on top like that. Give it a good press. Lift that off and take your leaf out. There we are, there's your leaf end, and then just give it a bit of a sharper point up the centre like that, and then put it into your foam. I've got a piece of foam here. Oops. Just pop that into your foam like that to dry, and just pop that to one side. Right, so that's your components. So as many leaves as you want to do, and your flowers. What I've actually done is I've got 2 sets to colour here. So altogether I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the outer flowers, and 6 of the inner flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start colouring them now. So I've got 2 colours that I've used for the flowers. I'm using Empress Purple and Tropical Lime from Edible Art. Whichever manufacturer that you're using, try and get it as near as you can. So you want a deep purple and a very pale lime green colour. I'm just going to have a drink of water, so excuse me. So I've got 2 sets of 4 that are going to be the centre flowers, then I've got another 4 petals that are going to be the outer petals. So I'm going to start with the greens first of all. Now for the inner petals, the centre of the flower, I'm going to do most of the petals with the green, like that. Just leave a little tip at the top that's not coloured, and don't forget to do the backs as well. I haven't done the back on that one, so I'll just come back to that one. Oops, didn't do the back of that one, did I? That one. And it don't matter if they go out of shape, because with it being flexible paste you can just pop it back into shape again. Just keep it shaped quite well. For those that haven't seen the recipe, if you hunt through, I mean, I've had, oh god, must be over 2,500 people have watched that video so far. It probably could be more than that, I haven't checked recently. Now just a little bit of green at the base of the others for the outer petals. I mean, you can always replay these parts if you want to see this done again. That's one advantage of watching a video rather than reading a book. You can go back and you can ask questions. Well, you can ask questions underneath. So don't forget, you can leave, if you've got any questions about anything, leave them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. There's a lot of people on there that you leave comments for, they don't even bother replying. So right, for the central flowers, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to catch the very tip of the petals like that with the purple. And if there's anything that you want to see me do as well, I haven't had any comments of late, leave those in the comments below as well. I mean, I'm always open to suggestions, because when you've done as many videos as I've done, it starts getting a bit difficult trying to think of something different to do. That's why some of these I'm repeating in the flexible flower paste. Well, I'm thinking about something new to come up with. Although I haven't done a full hydrangea before, I've done the lace cap in normal flower paste, but I haven't done this one. Right, then on to the other for the outer petals, and these have more purple on them, so I'm just going to pop that down there and then just bring the purple down like that. Turn it over, do the other side, reshape that. There's two more to do. They make pretty little flowers as well, these, to put in as filler flowers if you wanted to, in a spray flowers. There's something a bit different if you're sort of short of ideas. There's quite a lot of things like this that you can use as for filling in your spaces. If you want something small and neat, they do look quite good. So that's the two different kinds of petals that I've got in my flower done there. And then while I've got my colours out there, I also need to do the centres. So I've got my dried centres here. Now one of them is going to be green all over like that. Oops, this is still a bit soft because I dropped one and I couldn't find where it was, like I've just done with my brush. There it is. And then I'm just going to touch the top of it with a bit of purple. Doesn't have to be much. And then this one for the outer flowers, I'm just going to catch the bottom of this with the green underneath, and then that one wants more purple on it. So basically it looks purple just with just a little bit of green underneath, like that. Okay, so that's your two centres there. So we'll get rid of those brushes out of the way and assembly. I'm using the mid-green florist tape here to put them together. So don't forget, stretch the end, see which is sticky side. Start that off underneath your flower, like that. Twist it on, pull it up to the top of that. I'm just going to lift my camera up a bit this way so you can see what I'm doing here. So get that up underneath your flower. These are the outer petals. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the flowers and bend the wires down a bit, like that. If you do all this before you put it together, then you can put your flowers together a lot quicker. Right, so once we've done that, get one petal on like that. Start that off round your centre. That's not going to go, so we'll start doing it that way. That should twist on now. Right, and then put one opposite that. It's a bit skew width at the moment. That means not straight for anybody who doesn't understand what I'm talking about. It depends on where you are in the world as to whether you understand what I'm saying. But that means it's not straight, so you can straighten that up once you've got them in. And then behind these two petals on the side there, then you put in your other two petals. So that's one. Come on, go round. Sometimes you just have to give them a bit of a helping hand if it's not behaving. And when you've put a lot of flowers together, which I've just done getting all my things before I came on camera, you get a build-up of the glue on your fingers as well, and sometimes they just will not go the way you want them to. Right, that's in. And then tape down. Keeping your tape at an angle, keeping it taut so it releases the glue, and just roll it between your fingers, and then you can play around with your petals then to open them out. Just pull that down a bit, pull that one down a bit, and then you can play around with these two that you've put in there. There we are. So that's one of the flowers, so we'll put that there. And then your central one, push that up. I have to be careful with this, it's still not dried, hasn't that one? Just pull that down a little bit. That's there. Just have to be a little bit careful with my centre on this one. Bend your wires down, pop that in. And basically do exactly the same as I've just done with the outer petals. One round. Sometimes I don't want to roll. Usually when you get a few wires together, they do tend to be easier to turn. bend that wire down, and that goes in there. That. And then tape down. As I say, it depends which colour of flower you want to do, because there's a lot of different varieties and numbers of petals and that. So if you just study it before you start deciding which one you want to do. The leaves are more or less the same, so the vein cutters that I've just told you about and the veiners, whoever's veiner it is that you're using, will suffice. So once I've got those, just pop those to one side, and then I'll go on to colouring the leaf. I have got some paper somewhere with the green on that I've used for me leaf colour, wherever it is. Can't find it. Never mind. Oh, it's under there. That's why I can't find it. There it is. Right, so I'll just get rid of that because we don't need any more of that. And the colour that I've used for this is the Ginkgo, which is a mid-green colour. And or you could use racing green. These are all colours from Edible Art that I mentioned, so don't look for them in other makes. But basically you want a bright mid-green colour. And I should have a leaf somewhere. There it is. Here we are. This is one that I haven't coloured. This is the large roast leaf size that I've used for the smaller leaves. And give that a dust all over. I need some more of that. Where's my colour gone? Should be here somewhere. I thought I've got everything out ready and I've moved it. Oh, there it is, I think. Oh, that's spring green, that'll do. Yeah. It's a little bit darker than the other ones that I've done, but Ginkgo or spring green or something like that'll do. So I'll give that a good colour all over. As I've said before, as far as paste colours are concerned, don't buy larger. You only need one green. The one that I've used for colouring this is Holly and Ivy from Squire's Kitchen, and I also use the Sugar Flare colours, and the one from Sugar Flare you want the extra strength Christmas green, which is the same colour as the Holly and Ivy from Squire's Kitchen, but don't get the Holly and Ivy from Sugar Flare because it's very blue colour, which is alright if you're doing pine needles or something like that are a bluey green colour, because it won't be the right colour. And then what I've done with this is I've varnished it, and I've lost my brush down here. So I'll just tilt you back down there to the leaf. So I've dusted that with that colour. You missed that because I went off camera there. I do apologise. I do try and remember, but it's very difficult for me to look up at the camera and look down at what I'm doing. Then I'm using the leaf varnish, edible leaf varnish you can get from your sugar craft shop or online, wherever you buy it from, and give it a coat of that. Don't forget to clean your brush after you've done your glazing. So I always keep that in a separate bottle. It's a bit mucky looking, this, it wants changing, but I use that just for cleaning the brush and getting so your brushes don't go hard. If you leave the glaze on and you don't clean it, it will go hard and there'll be no good then. Right, so we'll pop that to one side now, and I can start assembling the flower. I'll get rid of that. So I'll get all my central flowers. Not going to steam all these individually. Wait until you've got it all together before you get on to doing anything like that. I'm going to use some full width tape for this because it's a bit stronger roller tape. There we are, that's the one. So I'm going to start off by putting the centre together. So I'm going to start off with one flower in the centre, and then if you get your other flowers and bend your flowers out a little bit, that wants to come up a little bit. Doesn't matter which way round your flowers are, because nature goes its own way. So that's the centre together. I'm just going to tape down with that, and then you can come back to your flowers and just pull your flowers out a little bit. You might need a pair of tweezers to do this. Just move my camera up a little bit more that way so you can see what I'm doing. I can sit back then while I'm doing this, which is what I normally do when I'm doing this sort of thing. Hence the reason why I sometimes go out of camera. So that's the centre part. So if we get all the flowers over for the outer part of the flower, then start the tape off a little bit lower, because it becomes like a dome. So if you just work down with your flowers, so I'm just going to bend those out a little bit. Oops, go on, stay in. And I'm going in between the last layer that I've got in there. Probably can come a little bit higher up. Pull that up a little bit more. I might find when I've done this that I haven't got enough flowers, because I didn't do a prototype before I did this, because there was a lot of work involved in it. So I thought I'd wait until I was actually doing it on camera before I'm putting it together. So don't take my word for the numbers, we'll see how we get on. Just pull them out a little bit, and then we can go in with the other flowers. So we'll come a bit lower down in between that layer that I've just put in there. Oops, nearly. Now this won't be as big as an actual flower head, but if you want to do it bigger, that's fine. It depends what you're doing it for, and don't forget, if you're doing it for a cake, time is money, and the more you put into it, the more you have to charge for it. It's a good idea to time yourself with all these jobs to find out how much time it's going to take you to make these sort of flowers, so that when you come to costing cakes up, you've got a better idea then of how much to charge for it. Right, just pull these out a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Now you could put another wire in there to make that a bit longer, so I'm going to put in there, I'm going to put a thicker wire in. In fact, find when I haven't got any cut, so I have to cut one. Oops. Maybe 20 gauge wires there, and I haven't got any in. What's that one? We're doing me snip of heavy out. Heavy out. The only reason I'm putting that in is because I want to get the leaves in, and that's just a little bit too short to get the leaves in. So if I put a stronger wire in there, and then I can put some leaves in underneath the flower. Now normally your flower would be a bit bigger than this, so I'm just saying you could open all that out to make it a bit bigger. Probably should use some tweezers here, but I'm not going to start rummaging around in my toolboxes to find them. This is the advantage of this flexible paste, because it's flexible. When you're doing jobs like this, it's a lot harder to break them. They're a lot firmer, so you're less likely to break something. So I'll get my leaves over. And I always do odd numbers, never do even numbers. The thing is, if you put some leaves in behind it, it just makes the flower look bigger as well. A bit like doing a spray. If you don't put any leaves in, they never look right. And I've got that one a bit cockeyed, so we'll just turn that round a bit. That's it. Better. just going to go down and tape these in, and then I can adjust them, because otherwise if you don't, they can swing around all over the place and you're forever trying to put things right. As long as you get your tape nice and tight, they should stay put. Then we'll go in a little bit lower down and I'll put some larger leaves in. So I've got 3 of the larger ones here. And tape down. Right, then you can play around with your leaves and just get everything just as you want it. So I'll just take that bottom piece off there. We are. So there we are, that's my hydrangea. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget, if you've got any comments or any questions you want to ask, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribing. You'll get notified when I upload new videos. And I'll see you soon, so take care. See you in the next video.